Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
Hats.
Brendo, how are you, man?
I am good. I'm cold.
It's freezing, my little.
It is.
My house
It is
freezing.
Well, I driving over. It was 9 degrees.
9.
Yeah.
I mean, the Scottish guy has been here too long because I've started to feel the cold.
Oh yeah.
We have a fun thing tonight.
Yeah. What's that?
So last week when we were sitting in the garage, we had nothing to talk about. We were just sort of sitting here looking at each other.
Well, we finished a pod.
We had,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
we started sitting here looking at each other. We had nothing to talk about. And we
Very
realized
unusual.
we don't really like each other.
Yeah.
We only talk Bitcoin. So I put a tweet out to say, if anybody wants to come on, if any player wants to come on and just have a chat with us just now, that would be cool.
Crickets.
Complete crickets.
Yeah.
So we waited for 10 minutes. Crickets. You went home, and then we got someone, and we didn't notice.
We got the hands up emoji.
Yeah, it was awesome.
like, oh fuck,
It
sorry,
was
dude.
awesome.
That was like an hour later, but anyway.
I
So
know.
so who have we got?
Well, he's here, Crispy. How are you, man?
Hey. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Thank you very much for putting your hand up. Thank you very much for making the time.
Yeah, pleasure. Well, I only must confess I've only, I'm on to my second episode now. But yeah,
we might cut it there, mate. Thanks,
Man,
thanks for coming.
I'm surprised anybody's listened to more than one.
No, after the first one, I don't know if I found you guys on Twitter or maybe I already had you there, but yeah, just saw that post, but obviously a bit late.
So what did you start when you kind of found us? Did you go right? I'll go back to the very first one, like 'cause,
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
yeah, generally, like if I pick up a pod, I just go from the latest couple. So which one did you first actually have?
No, it was
crack
the
at?
latest couple. It was the one before. Yeah, it was the latest two. So the recent one that I just listened to was the documentary maker.
Yep.
Which was quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's interesting. He's be interesting to follow that story as well because he's going to go back.
Yeah, big time.
So
So do you want to tell us approximately where you are in Australia?
Yeah, so approximately Melbourne.
so
even colder.
So Melbourne.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit cold. But kind of used to it now, like now that we're sort of really in the middle of winter. But
It's a bit like that, isn't it?
are you guys approximately around Sydney or?
We're approximately 4.5 hours north of Sydney.
Yeah,
Well, and you're
Pretty
cold.
close.
but then and even the Scottish guy's cold. But it has been cold this winter. But
That's all
Yeah.
relative, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
but depends.
No matter
Well,
where you
4.5
are.
hours north could be by jumbo jet.
Mate,
You know,
well, I'm going to Cairns next week, and I'm going to be hot as buggery, and I'm sure Daz will be in his hoodie.
Oh yeah, probably
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
even yeah. And also I didn't say, I was mentioned before we started press record. If you and your partner are expecting imminently, I think. So if you have to go mid rip, then well, just tell her to wait. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you have to go mid rip, you go. And I hope everything goes wonderfully well. So so I also thank you for making that time.
Yeah, big time. So, and that's your second, potentially, yeah?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second. It was a bit daunting for a while there, just sort of the prospect of losing even more spare time.
Oh, yeah. It's a reset button, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah. But now I'm excited. So probably the last week and a half, I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
too with babies though, it's like the mums, and I'm generalising probably, but I'm sure I'm right. Mums are generally right into the whole baby phase, whereas for me, with my two, I found them boring as batshit for the first kind of. I mean, I love them obviously, but like just boring for like the first 6 months at least. It's not till they can actually do something you go, oh, okay, this is a bit of fun.
I agree with you. I was super emotional, but I was totally useless for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
that was probably I became a bit better. I tell you what, I'm going to do something. Right, if anybody that's listening wants to guess the block that Crispy's new baby will be born on, and if they get it correct, I'm going to give them 10,000 sats. If somebody wants to guess a block,
That is a good.
and they get it right, I'm giving 10,000 sats.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good. I'll match that.
All right, there you go. 20,000.
Yeah,
I'll
20,000
match that
sats.
too.
There we go.
I'll match that.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There's 30,000
30,000
sats. If somebody out there wants to guess the block that Crispy's, well, we'll have to obviously you guess the block, and then we will announce it at some point in the future.
Yeah, and we'll just make sure
as
that,
long as you're happy with that.
Yeah.
that's okay.
we'll just
Yeah.
make sure that Crispy tells us the block that wasn't guessed, and then we're all good.
Yes, exactly. We'll keep our sats, and that'll be fine. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, cool. Crispy, you want to tell us, I guess, a bit of your background and your intro to Bitcoin?
Yeah, for sure. So I sort of recently had a bit of a career change. So I'm a junior software developer now. Used to be a project manager, was working in sort of university space, education, and sort of exposed to software, but mainly like, I guess, working with software developers, and just had enough of meetings all day. And wanted to actually sort of build something. So that's pretty new for me. That sort of change happened last year. But I'm Melbourne born and bred. Whether that's a good thing or not sure. But
I'm not so sure anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't brag about it now. But
So as far as skill set goes, was that an absolute kind of U-turn for you, or did you have some kind of coding or software development experience or interest previously?
No, I'd sort of dabbled a little bit. So, working with the developers, having sort of, problem-solving conversations, I was exposed to, I guess the terminology, some of the ideas and concepts around, a server or, I don't know, user experience and just general stuff, and played around with like HTML and CSS. But so not a total U-turn, but definitely a big move.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, I don't know, it didn't really feel like a huge risk. I'd sort of been thinking about it for a long time, and it kind of actually, I mean, Bitcoin was probably the biggest catalyst for it. I don't know if I totally connected with software that much until Bitcoin sort of came into my life. So yeah, I don't know where I was heading with that, but I guess that could lead into sort of my Bitcoin, how I got introduced into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Well, that's in itself. That is interesting. That Bitcoin has been the catalyst to make you change career. That's quite. Am I getting that in the right order?
And it's always that kind of like, before I found, it's like being reborn. Really,
It is.
It's so religious.
Yeah.
And then I found Bitcoin.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of
What were the touch points of Bitcoin then before and then up to the point of changing the changing career?
So I don't know. I mean, I guess for maybe you guys could relate, but I think a lot of people who end up getting into Bitcoin like are sort of just general people, like generalists, and so you have an appreciation or a curiosity for kind of different things. You're not sort of straight down the Keynesian economics guy, or you're not just a software developer, because I could talk to a lot of software developers, even in the company that I work for, which is, we do open source stuff, and a lot of people sort of wouldn't consider it, sort of poo-poo it. So I feel like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are kind of generalists a little bit, and that was my case. And so my dad actually orange pilled me by mistake.
All right.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. Sorry, go, because I got a similar story.
Do you? Okay. So Dad's also a bit of a generalist. He gets into like different interests and sort of, just goes 100% and then sort of moves on. So he kind of like has this curiosity, gets into something, moves on.
Yep.
And like big reader as well. So he's fairly well read. Would read across sort of all the different papers. And so I think it was 2016, maybe mid 2016, maybe a dinner at Dad's place or something, and he just started talking about this thing called blockchain, and he was so Dad knows a bit about accounting. He's not an accountant, but he knows how to manage his money and kind of is interested in it, and has invested and likes to manage things himself. So he knows a little bit, and I think it was the double accounting. What's it called? Double
entry bookkeeping.
Double entry bookkeeping. That was.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
I think the thing for Dad that kind of got him, and I think he was actually talking about Bitcoin, but he said the word blockchain. He didn't really realize it, and so he was like, this is gonna, this is. I think this is a really big thing, and I think you should look into it.
Can we talk
and
time?
I ignored him.
Did you say 16? I think he said 16. Roughly?
2016, mid 2016.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, before that,
before
2017.
The run-up, right?
Yeah. And so I kind of ignored it. I thought it was quite interesting, but Dad has a lot of opinions and a lot of ideas, so it's hard to keep up with them. So then skip forward maybe 9 months. It's probably like April, May in 2017. I'm in Laos, in Southeast Asia. So just a little country that gets bullied by all the neighbors around it. So China, Thailand, Myanmar, Cambodia, and Vietnam. It's just like squished all in the middle. And my partner is a doctor, so she had a posting there for a year, and so we're in Laos, and I was sort of doing a bit of remote work and doing a bit of just fucking around, I guess.
Vientiane? Is that the capital?
Yeah, Vientiane.
Is that where you were?
Yeah. I was in Vientiane.
I have been there. And
he's flexing.
No,
Look at you
I have
flexing.
a good story about that. I want to ask you later about whether you went down the river on the big blow up ringos.
No.
That's another story.
Wank.
We did, yeah.
It was the most fun I ever had. It was great. Anyway, sorry, please.
I did go down that river. No, actually. Oh, I did go to that place. I can't remember whether I actually went down the river. But anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. I just totally derailed you. Excuse me.
So in Vientiane, and my partner happened to have a week stint in the countryside. So most of her work was in Vientiane, but some of it was going rural. And she'd gone off, so I was on my own, and it was monsoon, so it was raining, so there's nothing to do, and the internet was pretty good. So I was just in the apartment on my own, and I don't know how it happened, but I'd recently read. Do you know the book *Sapiens*? By
Arthur C. Clarke?
No, I think his name is Yuval Harari or something. It's like *Sapiens*, and then the subheading's kind of like a brief history of mankind or something like that.
Seen it. I certainly haven't read it, but I think I might have seen it.
So I really liked it. It's a very easy read, and it's kind of a history of Homo sapiens, and it's kind of an argument as to why Homo sapiens survived and thrived, opposed to all those like Homo species before that, Homo erectus and whatever the other ones were. And basically the punchline was that because I think beyond 100, 120 sort of 120 animals of a certain species, it starts to get pretty hectic. Like monkeys, like when you get 120 of them together, then it gets pretty out of control. So it can't really go beyond that. And so, and I'm kind of probably not doing this book justice, but I'm just trying to sort of summarize it. I guess it's important because it sort of, it helps me explain why Bitcoin had a really big impact.
Sure.
So basically, the idea was that our ability to coordinate was how we actually survived, and the reason for that was our ability to believe in shared, maybe you could call it shared myths, or shared kind of truths, I guess. So like, if you go back way then, you've got like believing in animal spirits and, sort of pre-religious sort of stuff. And then you've got, religion, and then you've got, the 10 Commandments, and you've got law that comes along, laws, and, and you can create a commercial entity, a company, and everyone believes that that's an actual thing. Everyone kind of, and that enables us to coordinate. And so one of the big ones he went through was money. And so he spends a fair bit of time talking about money, and it just kind of, it was just a really meaningful thing to me. I'd never thought about money like that, and money wasn't really an important thing for me, apart from the fact that, it gets you things that you want, some things. But money was this next step in that sort of evolution of like a shared belief in something that enabled you to coordinate and enabled you to transmit or communicate value in a way that humanity could just scale. But obviously, like, it kind of got, there was a limit to that, I guess. Well, I would say that there was sort of a limit to how things went with money up till now, in that, I guess the technology of money maybe wasn't at the level where we could continue to keep coordinating beyond our current levels. And so anyway, I just read that. And
sorry, the book, that was your take from it, or that's what the book was telling you? Like, we'd almost like gone past, we'd like evolved past the functionality of the money that we currently use. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd probably describe it as, I don't think that book was saying that. No. Okay. So that's just it wasn't necessarily my view of that book before I like went down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin. Yep. It was kind of just like okay, so money's a communication tool. It's not just like, I don't know, this superficial thing that, is kind of bankers care about and, investors care about. It's like, it's this communication tool. It's like, it's very powerful.
It's a signal. Every time you commit some of your wealth that you have created with your time, that is a signal to say what you place value in. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like that whole story, that whole, I don't really care what you say, what do you do? Is that's what it is, right? And that's the function.
Yeah.
Money is the actual thing that identifies what that is for people.
Yeah.
So it's what they do. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so that was a good book for me. And then maybe a couple of weeks later, I was in Laos, in the monsoon on my own. And, I was just like downloading movies, doing stuff. And I remembered this, blockchain chat that my dad had with me. And So I don't know how it happened, but I sort of like maybe I Googled blockchain or something, and I think very quickly I got to like the Bitcoin white paper.
Right, well.
And so I opened it up. What is it, like 6 or 7 pages?
Yeah, it's not long.
9 pages.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not long, is it?
No.
But didn't understand well. I understood like 0.5% of. I understood enough to like keep
Like it
to
piqued
keep
enough
Googling.
interest. Yeah. Piqued
Yeah,
interest,
like
but didn't get it.
it was like, okay, peer to peer, like electronic cash. Okay, I kind of get that. And then the abstract or the summary at the top, talks about intermediaries, third parties, that sort of stuff. I connected with that, and then like the rest of the white paper kind of was just over my head. And so very quickly I got onto Andreas Antonopoulos, and just like lap that up, and just watched a lot of Andreas.
Same.
And over the course of the week, I sort of just kept coming back to the white paper, and every time I came back, I sort of got a little bit more out of it. But by the end of the week, I was just like, am I allowed to swear?
Oh, fuck no.
I was just like, fuck, if this is legit,
Yeah.
like this is fucking insane. Like
Yeah.
this completely changes everything.
That's super impressive. That's very quick. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's a very the fact that you've basically got yourself there in such a short period of time and saw the potential that quickly. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, not necessarily you're going to understand everything. None of us do, but like the fact that you kind of got the big picture stuff very quickly is really cool.
I think the book about that led me to sort of thinking about money really helped. I don't know if it would have been the same if. I think it would have taken a lot longer.
So did you go back to your dad and go, Dad, you're right.
But you're wrong.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's not blockchain.
But
Yeah.
even that you're right. Like combining your, I assume that if your dad has this sort of, reads the multiple papers, is politically open-minded, you that probably feeds through your family. So you come with this sort of work background, a book that you've read. You've all of a sudden got a little bit of time, and you're open-minded, and you have a sort of a multidisciplinary approach to things. You want to understand the different sort of elements of it. So yeah, I can totally see why. But it's like the combination of those sort of 4 or 5 things all coming together, and even being able to, a few years down the line, to be able to identify what they all were. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess as time went on, you sort of make all these new connections, and it just goes so much deeper. But I think at a reasonable level, I had enough understanding, and Andreas definitely helped. I mean, he's just an amazing speaker. I don't know if you guys listen to Andreas.
I listened to a lot of Andreas at the very beginning as well.
Yeah, I came in after.
But you probably came in when Andreas was in his shitcoin phase. He was reading. What was he? What were the books that came later? And some of the other I know.
I think you're right.
Is it unfair? No, I don't think it's unfair.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because I came in and I remember seeing like kind of some flame about Andreas, and I'm like, okay, so I just haven't really been there.
So, I'll probably tell these stories wrong, but the time that you were watching was probably around when I was watching Andreas as well, and he was also talking about things like being involved with sending the first email between academic institutions and seeing it taken however long it was taken to get through, and there was only 2 people in the world that were looking at that. I mean, so that's what you and then making that connection to Bitcoin, like, whoa, that's mind blowing. And I remember sitting in university at 1997 or something, and And really, email back then was, I mean, it was there, but it was more like a tool to communicate between academics.
It was a novelty.
It wasn't hadn't really become a thing where you just. I mean, this is all before like junk mail and spam and all. It's like all before all of that. But Andreas back then, when all that stuff was brilliant. I mean, he needs a lot of credit for the stuff back then. I'm not so keen on some of the later stuff, but certainly back then people should go back and read.
Can we go back to the dad though? Like, I want to know what I guess your conversation was with your dad after your kind of enlightenment.
So I guess I just sort of returned the orange pill, in a more authentic way, and just sort of, I guess, continued the conversation. So maybe tried to, because it's not like I didn't feel enlightened or anything. I was like, you sort of just start to realize you're just scratching the surface of something. So I didn't necessarily feel like I knew, I knew better than him or I knew more. I just had a different lean towards something. And so I think it was more just actually from the very start of my, that kind of trigger, I sort of had a friend, my dad, who I could actually talk to about and engage with. And, apart from my dad and probably my brother a bit, but probably not to the extent. Apart from that, really haven't engaged much with people in real life until probably the last few months. But, and not really out of choice, just, I don't know, just because firstly, I don't really like to push ideas on anyone. I feel like, if someone's ready or they want to, they're curious, then I'd love to have a chat with them, and I'll probably bite their head off. But I really don't like sort of trying to promote something or push something on someone when you kind of know that they're I don't know, you can kind of tell when someone's listening or when they're
glazing over.
They're kind of not listening. Like when someone's actually up for being challenged or challenging themselves.
So is your dad actually orange pilled, like properly orange pilled?
Yeah. But
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what the definition is, but he doesn't read about it or listen to podcasts
But he has
16
some,
hours a day.
And he's not selling it,
Yeah. Yep.
Hang on. Oh, hello. Is there an emergency? Oh no. Okay. No, sorry, the wife just walked past, heavily pregnant.
I'm being a bit loud.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
We'll whisper. It won't make a difference.
I think that's why we've ended up doing this.
You are whispering.
Sorry if I started whispering.
Yeah.
I think that's why we've ended up doing this, because probably me more than you got to the point where I was just pushing myself on people, and I could see the glaze, and I was like, well, I don't care, I'm going for you anyway. but eventually realizing that, the vast majority of people are not interested.
But at no point, and I'm sure I've said this before, at no point did I feel like you were really pushing it. Like, I knew you were passionate about it, but you weren't like, Brendan, you have to do this.
No, but
you couldn't shut up about it. That's all.
But you were open to it, whereas the vast majority of the other people, you weren't the glaze. The vast majority of the other people, you were probably the one of one or two or three people who were like, oh,
tell me more.
Maybe there's a little bit of a this guy will listen type thing. Whereas,
and then were you like a dog with a bone?
Probably.
Brenda,
I mean, I'm constantly trying to rein myself in because I'm rubbish at it. But yeah, and I so go back to, I think that's probably why we've ended up doing this, because what it allows us to do is have these conversations with people who are not glazed, and they're interested, they're interesting to talk to, but you're not pushing it on people. If people want to turn us off and they hate it, they will turn us off, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, so how often are you and your dad actually chatting now about Bitcoin?
Oh, at the moment, I mean, life's kind of busy when like you've got a little kid, you're expecting another one. But he lives pretty close by, so probably once a week. Yeah, but it's probably so my dad would be the main person in my life. And then, but then also that opens up to, because like Jules knows that I'm obsessed with it. So,
Is she
and
into it?
oh, she's tolerant of it.
Yeah, that's like every wife.
Yeah, she's well done. My congratulations to her.
Actually, one thing I was going to say before about, all these elements all these ways of thinking that sort of help you think about Bitcoin, whether it's like, sort of the monetary financial stuff or the game theory or, you've got the maths, the code, whatever. Another thing I was thinking of was the social justice aspect. And I think that's probably the aspect that my partner would relate to the most.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it quite, like, I don't think it's fully embedded in her mind that it's really like a fucking kick-ass social justice tool. But yeah, that's one thing that I think I related to as well. It was like reading about, and with Andreas, reading about and hearing about like the little man being taken advantage of by the big man. And just that idea, like I've always loved the idea of sticking it to the man.
Yeah. It's the Aussie underdog story, yeah, really?
Yeah, but I'm the Scottish guy with a chip on my shoulder too. Like it's everywhere. I think it's everywhere. Like
true.
Nobody, like decent-minded people anywhere in the world want to stick it to the man.
Yeah, but really Aussies.
Yeah.
I don't know though. We're not sticking it to any men at the moment.
No, we're not.
No, exactly.
That's a good point.
But it's shameful, I think. But oh well.
There goes our reputation.
I think it was Haas McCook who I heard say once that the most charitable thing you can do, this is pretty inflammatory for some people, I'm sure, but the most charitable thing you could do is buy yourself some Bitcoin. Because his thinking is, well, if enough of us, start doing $20 a day dollar cost average or fiat cost average, then what you're actually doing is supporting the value of Bitcoin. You're forming the floor for the poorest people in the world who've adopted it.
Yes.
Which is 100% true.
It is.
I mean, it's a big. I mean, I understand for people, but well, hang on, I could go to a soup kitchen. Of course you could. There's a lot of things you could do, but yeah, I mean, it's true.
But that's also relying on the idea that poor people have actually come on. Like we've talked before about, when the rich and the wealthy and the institutes actually jump in, and they're going to get in and get more than anyone else can because they have the disposable income to do it.
You're totally right, but that is why, certainly from a personal perspective, I am all about the bottom up movement rather than the let's get the hedge funds in.
Big time.
I don't care what the hedge funds do. The hedge funds can get fucked as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
They'll get themselves in when they need to get themselves in, right? And when they're able to. And we're speaking to Tomar about in his documentary last week, whenever it was. Same story. It's about the education.
Yes.
It's like it's that, and that's what's important, and everything else will flow from that. And will there be some people who are poorer people who are not in? Sure, there's going to be lots of them, and that's going to suck. But then it probably turns around on us, who we're, when you call it lucky. I know Bitcoiners won't be happy with that, but we're lucky enough to be early enough to then be able to do the things that we think are important in the world.
Yeah,
right? I'm not trying to be some whatever, but whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
If that means you go back to Vientiane and help in a school that was needing, or whatever it is, whatever's important to you.
Vientiane that I've visited before.
I just wanted to drop that again. But,
I was gonna say, like, just back to the orange pilling, and that I'm sort of hesitant to. I don't really like doing it unless I see an opportunity where someone's curious. I think what goes along with that for me is that is that I'm also not really in a rush.
Yep.
So like if, for Bitcoin to be, well, I already think it's successful actually in what it's designed to do. But, for it to be more successful and to grow, I know that that's going to take time. But part of me also feels that it's inevitable.
Yep.
And I kind of felt like that at the very start.
Yep.
Because of, again, reading that book about how humans coordinate and how we've been so successful in coordinating and creating these new and interesting things and ideas in the world. And, then we came up with money, which is this huge, like, coordination upgrade. But, maybe in the last, I don't know, 1,000 years, maybe we've kind of got a bit stagnant. We've got like government, like money tied to government, and the incentive systems don't quite work. We can still keep achieving some things, but like I feel when I started to learn about Bitcoin, I was like, okay, this is the next step. This is actually like humans generally adopt tools that are going to help them coordinate, whether they like it or not over time. It's just inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
So from that time, I was kind of, maybe there was sort of like almost like a patience that was instilled in me, thinking, well, this is just a wave that, like a tsunami that it's coming, and I don't really need to do anything about it. I can just go along my way and participate.
Just
and
don't
I get a
fight
lot
the
of
wave. Just don't fight the wave, right?
you
Just
can't
ride
fight
the wave.
yeah, just ride the wave. So I guess that's why, maybe that's what another reason why I don't feel super compelled to like orange pill the hell out of someone. But I respect people who do. I think that's great. Like, it's great to have the conversation and everything, but yeah,
It's
I don't know.
I think for as frustrating as the clown world might be, and how much we can see how things could be better, the best result for just the mass of people is a slow transition. Like, if we're to go tomorrow, your supermarket's closed, your postman is out of business, your mortgage is gone. You don't want that. However frustrating it might be, I don't want that. It's frustrating, yes, but
yeah, you must have some level of self-control, because when you're so excited about something, like you want to shout it from the top of a mountain.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it's true. And that's why I've really enjoyed being able to meet up with Bitcoiners, which I'd never done, and I can't believe it's taken me this long.
Yeah.
Like to.
Well, let's go there. So you went to.
You said in the last 3 months that's been that you changed, and that
Around the last 3 months. So I went to, managed to find the Bitcoin only Telegram channel.
Yep.
And I don't know why I hadn't looked before, but found it in maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago. Yeah. 5 months ago, can't remember. But it was a bit of a funny old channel. Like there wasn't a lot of activity in there. It's probably a bit more lively now. But it was very, sort of decentralized. So there were some people sort of obviously admins and stuff, and they would do some meetups. But I think probably because of the pandemic and the lockdowns in Melbourne, it sort of things got a bit, the meetups obviously died, and so for whatever reason, it didn't seem like a thriving community. But nevertheless, like there was still people talking, and it was nice to see that and to get in touch with a couple of people. But then saw someone posted this thing about the Bitcoin Bush Bash, and I'd heard about it before, like maybe a year or two ago, and for some reason, I didn't think it was my sort of thing. I didn't really know anything about it, but I thought it was like literally like a, you know, like a bush bash, like a doof doof.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, you know,
imagine Bill.
Love it.
I know.
That'd be awesome.
It's so far from the truth, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I was like, it was like 4 days before the event, and I saw it, and I'm like, fuck, I've got to go. I've got to finally meet.
It's not too far from you, yeah.
Oh,
Good drive.
Edgeworth is, decent, but like, my partner's always up for escaping Melbourne, and we found
she
somewhere
went
to
too.
stay. Yeah, well, they didn't come in the actual, like, in the inside the event, but
The ladies are allowed. Just
Yes.
to say that.
they definitely are. Yeah.
Very welcome. They badly need more of them. There's
Yes.
far too much testosterone in the room. But anyway.
There is, yeah. But yeah, so the bush bash was just fucking awesome. Like, it was
How good does it
was
feel?
just, it just felt like being home.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yes.
You sort of get in and you talk to somebody for about 10 seconds. You're like, I can have a beer with this guy.
Yeah.
And he may have a completely different background to you. That's the weird thing as well.
Yeah.
Completely different background. Completely different political thinking. But you're both Bitcoiners, so you can connect on something and you just, have a beer and chat.
Yeah.
I think what I liked was that, like, often, you would just talk about other stuff. But it was cool because you knew that, like, that they were a Bitcoiner. You knew that there was like a baseline of values that you shared. So it was just really nice to, like, you just know that you connect on that deep level, and you don't really have to think about that. You can kind of just go beyond it and, talk about whatever, or, talk about something a bit more, I don't know, a bit more detailed about what was happening, or, something that had happened recently. But I hadn't experienced that before, and it does feel like a religion, but
Yeah, definitely. Did you manage to did you run into a guy called Bodog?
Oh, I must have. I mean, it was such a small place, but if he was there...
sorry, I'll rephrase that.
Explain that.
Yeah, did you meet a cunt? Because if you did, that's Bodog.
We have a
No, there's no we.
So you,
That's
sorry,
me.
excuse me. You have a
I have a serial troll.
troll
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Oh,
But so we thought the best thing to do was to speak to the troll. And we had him on. We had him on. He's a nice guy, right? We liked him.
Yeah.
I did. You did. You weren't keen, but because he was just giving you a hard time. But he has not gone away. He's still
No,
here.
the problem is it's like adding fuel to a fire.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But he was at Beechworth.
He was at Beechworth.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think you probably would have.
Tall guy, Nordic, looks like he'd be out of ABBA or something, maybe. Bjorn looking Viking guy. No. English.
maybe.
He was
Like,
an English.
What color hair?
Oh
Sort of.
shit.
What?
No, I'm just
The
stirring him.
funny thing is, tell
He listens to this, so
tell Crispy what you thought when we went to the first one, that everybody thought everybody was like going to be wearing a.
No. I thought when I turned up, this is all like
You were very new.
absolutely green to this, right? So I turned up and I thought it'd be great if everyone got up and just sort of said who they were and what their Twitter handle was. This is all me, like, kind of pre-docs and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, hi, I'm Bitcoin Brendo. Because honestly, I wanted to actually connect and see and meet the people that I'd also been engaged with on Twitter. So for me, it kind of made sense. But
Yeah.
it also makes sense that shouldn't and doesn't happen. But you kind of get there anyway
Yeah.
in personal conversations.
You do, but there are people, I'm certain of it, that I talk to regularly on Twitter that I have met in person, and I have no idea that those two people are the same people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Which is cool, right? It's
Well, that's
kinda
what
cool.
they'd probably like.
Yeah. How was it?
Yeah.
How did you? So we haven't been down to the one in Victoria yet. So how was
Right.
it?
Oh, it was just great. It was, so it was 2 days, and just in an old little what was it? Not like an RSL. it was like a yeah, kind of like a little hall, like a an old hall. So it was just a very modest little room, and just had a screen up, and
Catan would have been there.
Catan was there. That was awesome. Yeah, so lots of stuff to do with privacy. So lots of stuff around Bitcoin and around what you start to look for when you like Bitcoin, and it informs how you kind of want to live your life. So like privacy, there was I don't think it was Bill, but there was someone else with his partner who have a farm.
I don't want to say his name, but I know who it is.
Okay.
I don't think he's. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know who that is.
Yeah. Like the kind of
so that was
organic
cool.
kind of stuff. They're legends.
Yeah, so she just like went through everything that she does and how they do it, and like sustainable farming stuff. That was really cool. And then there's some other Bitcoin related topics. There was like a demo by someone, a software developer who was playing around with what's it called? So with Taproot, I guess how would we explain Taproot? It's sort of
we wouldn't explain Taproot,
No.
but by all means, please.
What's his name? Not Leroy. What's the guy's name?
It would have been Daniel.
No. There was a guy. He's like our Bitcoin bush bashers, Sheldon.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah. He's a freak. Yeah. But he like
it's not Lloyd.
Lloyd.
It's not Lloyd.
It wasn't Lloyd.
Lloyd. No, but it was a guy in Melbourne, and he kind of works with Lloyd. So he did a demo with this thing that Lloyd had actually played around with, like on the command line, creating all these different, almost like a multi-sig, but using I don't know. Am I going too detailed for
Mate,
the
you
audience?
Go what you like. It's all good. See what it's all good. Don't worry.
Sure.
If people turn off, don't worry about it. They can fuck off.
Yeah. So anyway, it was like making multi-signature wallets in a different way with the Taproot, using the Taproot upgrade. So using the new what do we call it? I think this new cryptography. I don't really understand it, but I guess I think it enables a lot more privacy. You don't see exactly what those like transactions are, whether it's like going into Lightning or whatever. So it's a bit harder for those chain analysis companies to track everyone. So yeah, there was some demos, there was some technical stuff, there was a bit of everything. It was just really nice.
It's wild that there's guys that type on the command line, there's guys that are privacy focused, there's people that are resilience, I guess, farmers, there's people that the topics are so diverse. Yeah. But the topics are so diverse, and everybody's sitting there interested.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
it's like why are all these people interested in this? All of these topics.
Yeah.
Right. There's so different, there's so widespread of topics.
But there was no front. When you go to a conference, everyone's got a front. Everyone's like presenting themselves in a particular way. That's kind of like selling something in a way.
Yeah.
This was not like that. It was literally just like a group of kind of nerdy, kind of like dorky sort of people who, not calling you guys dorks or nerds.
No, but I saw just recently I saw a thing of bloody, I don't want to say his name, but Craig Wright. He was presenting some shit somewhere, and the slide, he was there, the picture was him on a podium about to talk, and his slide was a picture of him. And that's all you need to know about Craig Wright or anyone like that.
Yeah, you just turn off immediately.
Richard Hart would put himself on the.
Stop talking about these.
I shouldn't talk about it.
It's just, and also the fact that it's sort of out the way. The event is sort of out the way. In Beechworth and Murrundi and Yeppoon, they're all, anybody who goes really wants to be there.
Yeah, proof of work.
Yeah,
exactly right. So
exactly.
And and it sort of, I mean the numbers will probably stay small, but no, that's probably a good
I
thing.
don't think so.
Well, it's smaller. Like it's not gonna. I don't think it's
Yeah.
ever going to be a. It doesn't want to be a big, a Miami.
Well,
It's
they're
not trying
picking,
to
yeah,
be.
and they're picking. I suppose they're picking now the more remote locations for that reason.
Yeah, and I can genuinely see the people who are genuine Bitcoiners that are going to Miami. I mean, maybe I'm kidding myself here, but I can see them if they become aware of this, going, I don't want to go to Miami. I want to go to Australia and go to this little town in the middle
tiny
of
town.
somewhere where,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
so that's where guys are just teaching the barmaid to pay with lightning.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Did you guys go to Yeppoon?
No, we've done Murrah, like all the Murrahs, both the Murrahs.
Yeah. I'm keen for Yeppoon, but
I can't. I'm going to Cairns next week, and yeah, I can't get there. So
yeah.
And what do you got?
Well, I've got an operation to have.
Sorry, I said that and then went, oh fuck.
So maybe I don't know if it might fall in the exact same time. So it's a pain.
It's penis extension surgery. I'm sorry.
I mean, nobody needs to boast.
Yeah.
So what is there a particular angle that you see yourself? Like you gravitate to things that you're better at, I think. Anyway, you gravitate to things you're better at, you're more interested in. And Bitcoin has many different ways that you could go. Is there anything that you particularly look at yourself and go, "Oh, that's for me. I'm going to follow that"? Or
Well, the software development, I suppose.
Yeah,
Is that kind of?
So that I wouldn't say. Yeah, the software development, especially at this stage, I wouldn't say it's a strength yet. But I think I just feel so much. I don't really like the word FOMO, but I feel so much FOMO about not understanding like the source code.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like if I want to be able to do something meaningful in my life, I want to be able to understand it. And like one of the most meaningful things is Bitcoin. And I want to be able to understand that. And so part of the journey is like, learning how to develop software and sort of having a job so I can, keep living and supporting a family. But then on that other side, it's like, well, continue to get to the bottom of how these things work. How does a Bitcoin node work? How does a Lightning node work? So I don't know if it's a strength yet, but it's certainly like a focus. I feel like I will have the most, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but
It's a noble aim though, because a lot of people are just happy to take it for face value. So that's kind of for your experience. It's like a don't trust, verify, really.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily feel noble or anything. It's sort of like almost like a selfish thing. Like I want to be able to contribute. And if I don't know this, or if I can't be in that world and speak that language, then I feel like I'm missing out.
But the benefit of the incentive is the incentive structure is that you being selfish, you're contributing something for everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas it's the complete
Yeah.
opposite of what we currently live in. Like everybody, and there's people who are, genuinely, solid good people, but they've realized that in order to, protect what they have or provide for their family or just do well in life, they've had to sort of game the system, and they've worked out how to game the system, but it's at the expense of other people, right? Whereas this is you going, okay, well, this is what I'm interested in, and selfishly I want to go look at that, but there's literally nothing you could do that would be a sort of negative for other Bitcoin holders. Anything you contribute is a net positive. And I just think, I think none of us need to lose ourselves too much in our own sort of self-importance. Just because that's true doesn't mean that's the reason you're doing it, but that is the outcome of it, right? So yeah, I mean, I just encourage people to do whatever they think is their thing. Go give it a go, and also reach out to. I mean, I was just sort of the same. I spent probably 3 at least 3 years, just kind of myself reading and watching and stuff, and not reaching out to anyone, right? I was just on Twitter, and I was every now and again I would tweet, but that took a while before I even started tweeting myself.
And now you won't shut
now,
up.
now I'm just
Fucking
painful,
hell.
but painful. But when you reach out to people, it's and you'll only reach out to people that you sort of go, oh, I've read that guy's posts for whatever. Let's say it's Twitter. I've read that guy's post for 6 months, and I think we're somewhat on the same page. And then you reach out to them, and if you're humble enough to ask a question, oh my God, the level of positivity and response you get is unbelievable. I've never been involved in anything that's been like that. What's interesting, what you said, I wanted to pick up on before, when you said, your dad finds these things and he goes on I think it was said you were saying it was your dad, not your brother, but just goes on that thing for a long time, really focused on it, and then moves to the next thing. I'm that guy.
Me too.
But I've never moved from this.
Me too.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So why are people? What is it that's doing that to people?
I said this to your wife the other day. That sounds shit to say, but when we went to the thing, anyway.
When they thought you were my kid's dad.
Anyway. Yeah.
I feel the same.
We were in bed together, so. But I said the exact same thing, is that I'm a fad guy, and I was known by my mates as the fad guy. Like I had a stint where I was into astronomy, and then I was into this, and I was into that, and I gave it a good go, and then I moved on. But Bitcoin, I have not moved on from.
If anything, you're digging deeper, right?
Digging deeper.
Everybody,
yeah.
Are you finding that too?
You can't get out, and you don't want to get out.
Exactly what you're saying. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I feel exactly the same. And part of the reason of sort of taking the direction I did in software as well is also because I can't get enough of it. Like every day, I can't get enough of it, and I don't have enough time to get enough of it. I would like to be paid to keep getting enough of it. So
right.
There's
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's
right.
Can I ask you? Sorry, please go on, and I'll try and remember the question.
No, I was just going to say another little thing that popped up for me. So, I before the conference, I was looking for. I think I wanted to wear maybe it was for the conference or not, but basically, I was looking for a shirt. I wanted to wear like a Bitcoin shirt because I hadn't really worn like Bitcoin stuff before. And I was just kind of disappointed with what I was seeing, like in Australia, like, options to buy, quality clothes, like shirts or whatever with, something interesting to like express yourself. And so anyway, after the conference, that technical guy who was a friend of Lloyd's, he actually started a little payment processor called SatSale. I don't know if you heard of this.
He was at Murrah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Nick. Yeah.
I
probably
nice
shouldn't
guy.
have said his name.
Young fella too.
Yeah, really young. Anyway, so I was like curious to use that, and also thinking there's no it's very difficult to get, get a decent t-shirt. So I just ended up starting this little little online store, and didn't know how long it'd last, but it's kind of just become more of a thing for me. Like I'm really enjoying.
Shout out.
Chill it.
That's totally
It's just called the Bitcoin Only Store.
Yeah.
Oh, and, no, I've seen that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's just like
creating things and selling them. You have the product yourself, and you're selling it in Bitcoin or for Bitcoin. Sorry, or what's happening?
It can be, yeah. Also allowing, if you want to pay in dirty fiat, that's fine. But yeah, awesome. With Bitcoin, so just kind of got started it thinking, I'll give this a go. But then I'm kind of like, okay, it's really interesting, the idea of, allowing Bitcoiners or allowing people to express themselves. Mm-hmm. Because people want to express themselves. I want to express my passion for this project. And so it's just interesting thinking about how you can design and I don't know, even make a community around like designing and selling. So it's just got me thinking, and it's just kind of fun to play around with. And
Yeah, awesome.
So are you
Yeah.
using like one of these like you submit a design and it's like it's made to order when somebody buys, or are you like getting stock into your house and sending it out, shipping out from Melbourne, or just going directly from manufacturer?
Yeah, so it's the like what they'd call print on demand.
Yeah.
So like
How
I
does
found
that work with the integration of the Bitcoin payments then? Sorry, I'm jumping about a little bit, but
well, that
BTC
doesn't really,
pays
I mean, so it integrates with like, so if you're using WordPress, that's what I'm using at the moment, but I'll probably move to, I probably will move to Shopify, because the user experience on WordPress at the moment is a bit, it's just a bit clunky. But yeah, so the print on demand service just integrates with like WordPress.
Yep, like a
And then
WooCommerce or something.
With WooCommerce, exactly.
Yeah.
And then once you do the payment, you basically just need whatever payment service it is, just basically sends back, to the store saying successful or whatever, like in the back end. So once they get that, then that just pushes it through. So it's quite quite easy to set up. I think the hardest part is really like developing a brand and a message, and how you do designs. Like, I think I just started because I'm not really a designer. Like, I've played around with Photoshop and things before, but mostly it was just like, are you guys there?
Yep. It's cutting in a little bit, but cutting out a little bit. Sorry. Oh, maybe we're not. Okay, maybe we'll cut and we'll call back. We'll just do another call. I'll drop him.
He's got a really thoughtful pose there too.
Keep it. Let's.
Okay, we'll be back.
I'll just drop him a message.
All right, Hats. So that didn't work.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually recorded.
So we lost Crispy. Couldn't get him back. It was a great chat, which was a shame, but
yeah, it was. It was really sort of free flowing and like a nice guy, and immediately, right?
Yeah.
Which was really good.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get the chance to have another chat at some point. There's a couple of things that we want. So just to round this off, rather than just cut it short and just everybody wonders where we all went. The couple of things we want to do, just to sort of to show. So the store is the merch stuff, the Bitcoin merch stuff he was talking about is bitcoinonly.store.
great.
It's a good domain.
Name.
Yeah, it's a good domain.
Bitcoinonly.store.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've not had a look yet, but I'm going to have a look, so I'm going to have to do that later tonight. And also, at the beginning, we were talking about the fact that he and his partner are due a baby, basically imminently, so thanks very much for coming on when you're in that situation.
Yeah.
Crispy, but, and we were talking about when we all said that we would chuck in 10,000 sats if somebody could guess the block height.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. So we're currently going to Clark Middy's dashboard. We are currently at block height 741,982.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't go lower than that, guys. Go higher than that.
Yeah.
But how are we going to do it? So
whoever. Oh no, over Fountain, I think. Yeah.
So yes, because then we can. Whoever wins, we can pay them over Fountain too.
Yes.
So go listen. If you're not listening to this on Fountain, go listen on Fountain. If you want to have a guess, you want to try and win 30,000 sats. I guess. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I would want to do that.
Yeah.
Go guess the block height. How are people limited to how many guesses they can have?
Yes.
I never thought of
Yeah,
that.
no, they got to be.
One guess each. One guess each.
one
Somebody's just
guess
going
each.
to come on and go every single one. Yeah, you can have one guess each. And then if you get it and you're the only one that gets it, we'll send you the sats. That's cool, right?
It's very cool. Fucking, that's better than Fold.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Should we?
No.
Should we diss Fold?
No.
I like
Fold's
I
good.
like Fold's good. I like Fold. But
all right.
it's frustrating. I keep getting the womp womp. I'm just disappointed.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Or the million. The problem is the million sats is right next to the 5 sats, and you go,
Yeah, you just
1M,
just,
1M.
just
it's
tick over
5.
the 5 to get to the
Fuck.
million. I have a few times thought that is stopping,
Yeah,
and it never does.
No, it's rigged. It's rigged. Fold.
Yeah, I've got. Do you want? No, you don't want to talk about extra stuff, do you? You want to stop?
No, I want to stop. But is it quick?
Probably not.
No. Well, let's talk after. See you, plebs.
I'll probably forget.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye, hats.
Goodbye, hats.